This is part 2 of section 8.2. I can compute tax, tip, and, again, let's write this word here because we'll deal with it more, commission. Commission problems. We'll do several of those. Now, as the warm-up, we usually pay 100% of the price, and the tax was 8%. What is the total price we would actually pay? So we're going to pay 100% of the price, and then the tax is going to get added on top of that. So what percent would we actually end up paying? Well, we're going to pay the 100% plus the 8%, so we're actually going to pay 108.7%. That's the percent that we actually pay. That's why when we go buy something, it seems a little more expensive because we get up to the cash register and they say, oh, you've got to pay for the price plus that little bit of tax. Now, you may have noticed that there's a different way to solve these problems, so let's take a look and see if we can figure it out. It has something to do with that warm-up question right there. So, on example 3, it says, a new cell phone costs $799 and you have to pay 8.7% tax. Find the new price. Now, notice that it says find the new price. It doesn't necessarily say, hey, figure out what the tax is and then find the new price. So let's take a look at this. The cell phone is $799. The old percent, or what we would normally pay, is 100%. We're going to have to add the tax on top of that, so that's going to be 8.7%. So we've got 100% here, 8.7% here. So what we actually end up paying is 108.7%. Now, here's the trick. Well, if what we're interested in is how much we're going to have to pay, why don't we just figure out what 108.7% of the price of the phone is? So in order to figure that out, we're just going to write price is, or price equals, 108.7%. So let's move this decimal over 2 places. So 1.087. And then let's times that by 799. Now, I'm going to grab the calculator and let's take a look at what it spits out for us. Here's our 108.7%, so 1.087. And then we're going to times that by 799. So there's our 108.7%. We're going to multiply by 799, and we end up with this. 868.51. Again, that's $868.51 and a little bit more, but not enough more to bump that up to 52 cents. Remember, it's either going to be 51 cents or 52 cents. So it's going to be 868.51. 868.51. Put a $sign on there. That is our final price. Now, notice all they asked for was the final price. That's usually what we're interested in. If we had to figure out what the tax is, what we do is we'd say, well, look, we paid $868.51. Let's just take that and subtract the $799. So I'm going to pull up the calculator again, take that 868.51, and we'll subtract off the original price, $799, and we end up with $69.51. So I'm just going to put here that the tax equals $69.51. Okay? Now I'm going to put a dotted circle around that, and I want to show you really quickly. You don't have to write this down, I just want you to watch. Let's figure out what 8.7% of $799 is, because that should be the tax. We did that yesterday. We did a whole bunch of that. So let's do 8.7%, so 0.087, and then we're going to times that by 799. So again, move that over 2 places. You can see the 8.7 right there. So this is 0.087 times 799. Hit enter. And look at this, 69.51 and a little bit more. Again, we've seen that 3 before. It's not enough to bump it up. So that's another way to get the same answer. But the cool part about this is, unless they ask for the tax, we don't really care about it. What we care is how much do we have to pay when we get to the cash register, or whatever it happens to be. So let's do that same thing on this one. We want to find the new price. The check total is $45.89. So we're going to pay $45.89, and we're going to give a tip. Pretty generous tip here, 20%. So the old percent is 100%. We give a tip of 20%, and we end up paying 120% altogether. So what's the new price? Well, the new price would equal 100%, 120% of the original price. So let's write 1.20 times the original price of $48.89. Oops, that's $45.89. Need to fix that, $45.89. $45.89. And let's throw that in the calculator. So 1.2, you could do 1.20, times 45.89, 55.06. So 55.06 $55.068. But remember, this is money we're talking about here, so this is $55.06 and a tad more. That 8 is enough to bump it up to a 7. So what's the price we pay? We actually end up paying $55.07, $55.07. Now, like we showed before, if you do have to figure out the tax, we could always figure it out on this one by taking the total price that we pay, what's that final dollar amount, subtract the original price. So just by subtracting the old price. So just write subtracting the old price from the new price. Okay? Now, we're going to take a look at some commission problems. Now, commissions are a very common way for people who are in sales to get paid. So we're going to slide down here and take a look. So we've got, in this situation, it says your mom's a real estate agent who works on straight commission. Now, what that means is she only gets paid if she sells something. So she gets a percentage of what she sells, but if she doesn't sell anything, she doesn't make anything. We'll talk about a different type of pay structure in the next example. So on most deals, she makes 1.75% of the sale price of the house. She recently sold a house for $369,000. How much was her commission? So we're going to set it up like this. We're going to write COMM for commission, and I'll try and have decent penmanship. Commission. Her commission is equal to a percentage of the price. So it's 1.75% of the sales price of $369,000. Well, you can see that we've kind of already got an equation set up here. Her commission is going to be equal to, let's move this over, 1, 2, so 0.0175 of means times 369,000, put the commas in there, and we'll pull up the calculator. So if we do 0.0175, whoops, got to clear that off, 0.0175. Again, moving the decimal over two places, you can see the 1.75%. And then we're going to times that by 369,000. All right, we'll hit enter. And we end up with this dollar amount right here, $6,457.5. Now, how do we say that 0.5? So 6457.5. Well, if this is dollars and cents, we wouldn't say, hey, I got paid $6,457.5. We'd say $6,457 and not 5 cents, 50 cents. Remember, we just add that 0 at the end there, okay? So that's how we do a very simple single commission, straight commission. It's just simply a percent of the sales price. So we take that percent, multiply it by the sales price, and we've got the amount that's made there. Now, this next problem is a little bit different. Let's say your dad sells semi-trucks and they pay him on a tiered commission. So here's how a tiered commission works. Depending on how much you sell, you might make a higher percent. So the more you sell, the bigger your percentage. Now, in addition to this, it says he makes $500 in base pay. Base pay is like a guarantee. So I'm just going to write guarantee. Guaranteed. So he makes $500 no matter what. So if he has a bad month, doesn't sell anything, he still makes $500. But his commissions are structured like this. 1.5% for the first $100,000 in sales, and then 2% for everything over $100,000. So he actually makes this. He makes his base pay plus commission 1, so we'll do COM 1, plus commission 2, we'll do COM 2. Now the big question here is, does he sell enough to make both of these commissions? Because he's guaranteed his base pay of $500, but what we want to know is, does he sell enough to make both of those commissions? So how much did he make if he sells $315,000 worth of trucks this month? So did he sell enough to qualify for both tiers? And the answer on this is yes, because the cutoff is $100,000. So he makes a small percentage on the first $100,000 and then a larger percentage on anything over that. So here's what we do. So the answer on this is yes, because he sold $315,000 and that's enough to do this. We're going to peel off the first $100,000. So take $100,000 and put it over here. Now, his boss is not going to pay him again on that $100,000, but he is going to say, look, I'm going to pay you this percent on this, and we're going to take whatever's left over, which would be 315 minus 100, so that's 215,000 is going to be that what he's going to get paid on that second commission. So we're going to do 1.5% of that $100,000, because that's that first tier. And the second tier is a little higher. He actually makes a larger percentage. So this is going to be 2% of the $215,000. Now, this is really the key to figuring out these problems is If he sold more than 100,000, then we've got to break how much he sold, this 315, into two different places. 100,000 over here for the first tier and 215,000 over there. So let's figure out how this would work. This is going to be 1.5%, so I'm going to put 0.015 times 100,000. And the other one's going to be, move over two places, so this is going to be 0.02, 2% is 0.02, times 215,000. And again, the commas in there just kind of help us keep track of that. So let's figure out what these commissions are. So I'm going to clear this off, 0.015 times 100,000. Now, if you're quick, you might recognize what this is. So I need another 0 on there, don't I? Yep, need 5 zeros. So make sure that this is typed in the right way. It is. We got 1,500. So this is going to be plus $1,500. This first commission is $1,500. Let's grab the other one. So 0.02, there's 2%, times 215, 1, 2, 3. Make sure it looks right. It does. Hit enter. So we get plus 4,300. So let's take a look at what goes on here. We've got the $500 in base pay, $1,500 for the first tier of commission, and then $4,300 for the next one. These two make $2,000 plus the $4,300. So here's the answer on this one, $6,300. Pretty good paycheck. All right, now I want you to go ahead and circle the self-assessment down here. How do you feel about, in particular, the commission problems? And then we're going to take a look at a problem from the assignment. Okay, I've got number 10 pulled up here on the assignment. It says Sarah works in an appliance store. She earns 12% commission for sales up to $6,000 and 18% commission for sales over $6,000 every single month. And last month her sales were $18,200. How much was her commission? Now the important thing to note here is this is a tiered commission structure. So if she sells over $6,000, we have to break this into two tiers, but she doesn't get any base pay. So she is just strictly paid on commission. So we want to figure out what commission 1 is, and then we're going to add it to commission 2. So I'm not going to do the entire problem, but here's what we're going to do. If the cutoff is $6,000, so 12% up to $6,000, 18% for anything over $6,000, did she qualify for both tiers? And the answer to that is yes. So again, whatever that lower tier is, we subtract that amount and figure out what's left. So this is going to be the first commission, and here's the second commission, $12,200. 18 minus 6 would be 12, so that's going to be $12,200. Now, all we have to do is put the percents on here and we'll be set to go. 12% on that first $6,000, so this is going to be 12% of the $6,000 there, and then 18% of this amount right here, so 18% of the $12,200. Now, that's enough to get you started on there. Good luck on the assignment.